Yo, welcome back to the Shoutout, you guys. It is me, Doncho, and as you can see, we're doing something different today. For the 1-year anniversary of the Doncho's Shoutout channel, I'm going to be doing a Q&A, okay? Just like I did for my first video ever here on the channel. I did a Q&A for you guys on Twitter, and I sent out a tweet saying, hey, you guys, if you want to ask me some questions before I start my YouTube channel for my introduction video, talking about basically who I am, what I do, what I want to do with my channel at the time, and things of that nature. And I got a whole bunch of awesome questions, and if you guys have not checked that video out, you will be able to check that video out, and it'll probably be under unlisted because now this new video will be the main video that you guys will see on my homepage, and it'll be the new type of introduction basically to everybody coming to the Doncho's Shoutout channel. And now that we do have some traction here, we got well over 200, 300 subs. I think I just wanted to do something that felt more, you know, intimate and felt more direct into what the channel talks about, and talking more about maybe Jujutsu Kaisen questions you guys may bring up, and maybe some more personal questions you guys may want to ask me. And I do have a few good questions here for some good, awesome subscribers of mine, and I can't wait to answer those and, you know, basically tell them about myself and the things I think that I may not share with you guys in my other videos. But before we get into that, like I always say, if you guys want to support the channel, there is a Patreon and a Ko-fi with the link below that you guys can check that out, and that is very much appreciated. Thank you so much, you guys. We'll be bringing exclusive content to the Patreon as soon as we get a good number of patrons in there. You know, we don't want to add any extra content there. There's nobody there, you guys, so hit that up if you want to. And also, if you are new here and you end up liking the things I talk about, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon so you come back to the Hideout and check out some of our older videos, check out some of the things I do, and I hope you guys love all of it, all right? So before we get into the Q&A, intro. So like I said, we're going to be doing some Q&A, and what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read off the question and I'm going to give an answer, and I'm going to give my honest 100% answer, you guys. So don't be mad at me if it's something that you don't want to hear, and I hope whatever answers I give for certain personal questions, it's interesting enough for you guys, and you guys don't call me lame and be like, okay, Doncho, you boring as hell. All right, you guys. So the first question I'm going to start off with is, it says, of the series you enjoy the most, rank them from easiest to talk about for creating content to the hardest. Okay, so if I had to think about the series that I enjoy the most, I think the easiest to make content for would be Jujutsu Kaisen, hands down. I think with Jujutsu Kaisen, because I've been following it since the beginning, been seeing everything going on, following Akutami throughout their journey, it's been easy for me to be able to call certain callbacks, be able to talk about certain foreshadowing points. The next on the list would be Hunter x Hunter. I'm going to go like 3 or 4. The next second one will be Hunter x Hunter. I am a Hunter x Hunter fanatic. Really, Hunter x Hunter and Jujutsu Kaisen might be on the same level. I probably can talk about them just as easy as each other. Hunter x Hunter might actually be a smidge easier because I've rewatched the anime about 12 times. I'm not exaggerating. I rewatched that anime 12 times. And I know some of y'all thinking, yes, that is crazy, but no, it's really not. Yeah, Hunter x Hunter is really, really easy to talk about Hunter x Hunter, and I love that anime, and I love the manga, and I've even read the manga about 4 or 5 times from beginning to where it's at currently. It's just one of my favorite things of all time. The third will probably be That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I would love to start doing That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime content. I want to do that eventually. I want to bring it to the channel. I just don't know exactly how I would like to bring it to the channel. I was debating on doing something in regards to light novel versus anime aspects, or even web novel versus light novel versus anime. And they're talking about how those three, they're not the same. They are different in a lot of key ways. Their outcomes are pretty much the same, but how they get to each of the things are pretty different. And that is kind of interesting, but that is something that I'm not entirely sure is my type of bag of talking about. I'm somebody who does like to break down the differences and stuff and things like that, but I'm more so someone who likes to talk about what's actually happening in the plot. They're mostly talking about the differences. That's kind of how I feel. And the fourth thing I think would say for the hardest for me to make content about, I would say maybe 4, like Gundam. Gundam would be hard content for me to make because I don't know what to do for Gundam that would pull people in. Maybe doing gunplot stuff, but I don't know if there's really a market for people to see someone like me sitting down and, you know, recording my process of putting some gunplots together. I'm not sure if I'm an interesting person to watch do that. I definitely say Gundam is a series I love, like one of my all-time favorite franchises that I love. That would be a hard thing for me to make content for 4th. And 5th, something that'd be ridiculous for me to make content for that's hard. I love One Piece, but One Piece content would be hard for me to make because I'm not a clickbaiter, and I'm not into One Piece the way everyone else is into One Piece. I feel like a lot of One Piece YouTubers are very like power scaling. All they talk about is power scaling. There are times they talk about theories and stuff like that, but I feel like their theories lean so to the far-fetched and never actually unfold. Very few and far between they do. Well, I think if you pay attention to my Jujutsu Kaisen videos, a lot of things I say kind of like happen in a way. And I feel like with One Piece, it'd be hard for me to make content because the content that I would make wouldn't be the content that the fandom enjoys. So yeah, that's my ranking. Second question, what has been the most impactful series or literature you ever read? I would like to say Hunter x Hunter. It's very crazy because people probably will look at me and go, bro, really? And like, anybody who knows me well knows how much I read novels. Like, I love novels like The Five Pillars of Earth. I love reading Ta-Nehisi Coates' books. I love the Lord of the Rings franchise. I love the Harry Potter franchise. I actually love the Hunger Games franchise. I even love Twilight. I read a lot of books, even like autobiographies, like Malcolm X autobiography is one of my favorite autobiographies ever in life. Another book that I would say, The 48 Laws of Power. Have you ever read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene? I think that's his name, Robert Greene, one of the best books I ever read in my life. It is impeccable from top to bottom. It's kind of evil. It's like a necessary evil, I believe, if you believe in things like that. So I would either say Hunter x Hunter or The 48 Laws of Power. And it's very funny because I feel like Hunter x Hunter and The 48 Laws of Power will go hand in hand. The 48 Laws of Power also taps into the art of war. And, you know, for obvious reasons why the art of war will tie into Hunter x Hunter. And I feel like all three of these things are very key literatures that go hand in hand, especially when we talk about sociology and psychology and stuff like that, right? But the reason why I think I would say Hunter x Hunter is the most impactful series or literature for me is because it was me realizing anime is so not what the hell I thought it was. It's funny because Hunter x Hunter still felt like that piece of literature where I was like, whoa, this is writing for real. And I think what made me love it was the nuance. The thing about when I'm reading novels is that everything's told to you. They tell you everything so that you can dive into the world. So you know pretty much almost everything. And I think it's harder for you to pick up on nuance that way, right? But with Hunter x Hunter, it's all nuance. And I think that nuance is what made me go, oh my God, I loved it. Like, you had to pay attention to this little detail for you to understand really why this major detail hits as hard as it does. You can understand it hits off of just surface level, but if you really understood these 3 or 4 minute details that came before it, this major detail now means so much more than what you originally thought it meant if you just was looking at it on surface level. And I think that is what makes Hunter x Hunter so impactful to me. And just the stories being told and just a coming of age story was something I had not seen yet. Something that wasn't really happy, but also wasn't like overly gloomy. It felt more realistic. It felt more like this has a lot of sadness to it, like in real life, that you wouldn't know is the sadness going on unless you was in the midst of it. That's what I kind of really loved. That was an amazing question. Thank you for that. Third question, something I've been meaning to ask, channel related. Read the Togashi's There You Are. Have you ever considered making a video talking about Hunter x Hunter? And they said this other time you said you were planning to bring Kingdom Hearts to the channel. Was there any progress on how to do so? I have literally been fighting making videos on Hunter x Hunter. And the reason why I've been fighting is because I want to focus a lot on Jujutsu Kaisen. And my Hunter x Hunter videos, I don't know if what I want to talk about with Hunter x Hunter is what people would gravitate to. I guess I'd have to just test it out, right? You won't know until you try it. But I feel like me sitting down talking about how Hunter x Hunter is so nuanced and talking about how it's the greatest, one of the greatest of all time, nowadays people don't really want to sit and hear that unless you already have the Hunter x Hunter fandom or at least a major anime fandom already looking at. So I've been focusing mostly on Jujutsu Kaisen, trying to grow that community and grow that side of YouTube. We have, you know, Hunter x Hunter YouTube content, good Hunter x Hunter YouTube content and bad, but I want to bring some amazing Jujutsu Kaisen content to you guys as much as I can. And once things start growing and when Togashi comes back, I'm all over that Hunter x Hunter shit. When new chapters start coming, you know where to go for the discussion. And in terms of the Kingdom Hearts content, I have no clue. I'm just thinking eventually I'm just going to end up bringing gameplay first. And after bringing some gameplay, I might even do like live streams of me playing through the whole franchise so people just know how much I enjoy Kingdom Hearts and I'm willing to play through the whole franchise live for you guys so you guys know because I love it and I'm good at the game. And in the midst of me doing that, going through the live streams of playing the games, I'm probably going to just talk about the cutscenes and leaving the cutscenes up and, you know, and in the live stream, maybe on Twitch or something like that, talking about the cutscenes, talking about their relevance back then when they originally came out and talk about the relevance now that we have so much more information and so much more is going on. That sounds like something that'd be really fun to do, but it all depends on how things go. As this channel gets bigger, I'm going to branch out more. That's just the obvious. Thank you for that question. Fourth question, what inspired you to do YouTube and what's your drive to push on forward? I think seeing the lack of passion in YouTube is what inspired me to do YouTube. Maybe people think I'm crazy for saying that, but I feel like a lot of the major anime or manga YouTubers, they aren't passionate. It comes off very robotic, I feel like sometimes. And a lot of times I feel like it comes off very, I have to act like I know everything. And I have to act like that my opinion is the end all be all. And some people don't act like their opinion is the end all be all, but once the opinion gets attacked, it turns into this, I have to act super tough and get in my defense and squat up and show everyone on Twitter and YouTube that I don't have time, I don't play these games and I'm so much smarter and I'm glad I have an actual life. And I'm not here to do all of that. If you guys don't like what I have to say, then don't like what I have to say. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you about it. You know, like I don't feel like there's a need for that. I feel like it's space for you to disagree with me and it's space for you to agree with me. And then we could just keep moving on from there. And then I also feel like what inspired me was just me. Like I wanna be able to just talk about the anime and manga that I love. And I feel like this is the best platform to do it on, right? Sitting down, talking about what the craziness is happening and whatever anime manga going on, talking about, hey, I think you guys should read this manga, hey, I think you guys should watch this anime, being able to connect with the community in a different way, and eventually being a face of the community and being an appropriate face and speaking for the community, not speaking on the community or speaking for the community in a way where I'm like, yeah, I am going to say what I believe and what I believe speaks for everyone else who's in the community. No, I want to funnel what you guys feel and what you guys say through me. And if it's got to be filtered and some things got to be pulled and changed and stuff like that, I want to do that. I want to have that platform. I want to have that type of influence to where I'm not controlling things, but I'm helping things change in a positive. And what drives me to push on forward is you guys. You guys coming and commenting, like I said, you guys subscribing, you guys like texting, not texting, but DMing me. You guys just wanting to continue to talk about the content is what keeps me going. It's what pushes me forward, and I appreciate it. Fifth question, what is your subscriber goal for this year? I don't know. More subscribers. I want to just, I just want you guys to subscribe. Let's hope by the end of the year we at 10,000. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope by the end of the year we at 100K. I hope by the end of this year, I hope I am a solidified YouTuber that is able to monetize videos and is able to get some type of endorsements and sponsorships where I can and people notice me. Sixth question, in what ways do you see yourself in your favorite pieces of literature? Ooh, what ways do I see myself in my favorite piece of literature? I see myself as like the main character every time. I see myself as the main character where it's like, I'm learning everything in the world, and everything in the world is centered around me, not because it's some destiny thing, but I've went and made the certain type of choices to where now things are revolving around me. That's kind of why I see myself. I see myself as the main character who is the unconventional main character, where you might even like all my side characters more than you like me. Like I'm gone from Hunter x Hunter for sure. Like I'm gone. Like I'm in there, and you might not even fuck with me like that. Like you might not even think I'm that cool. You gonna think everyone around me is cooler than me. But little do you know, I'm the reason all these people are together. You gotta have people sleep on you so that when you hit there, they just woken up like, oh shit, that's my favorite thing. Waking people up out they sleep, I swear. What equipment do you have for YouTube? I have a camera and a mic. Eventually I wanna get a lavalier mic, so if you guys wanna support the Patreon and the coffee, hit, you know what I'm saying? We can get some more equipment. I really love it for you guys, but that's all I use. I use a regular camera that's has a mic built in. What made you want to do YouTube with the camera on you rather than editing a voiceover clips or pictures and etc.? Oh, that's interesting. I think that stuff is lame, like to a degree. It's crazy. Like I don't think it's like terrible, but I feel like flipping the camera and having it on me is what I want, because I want to see you and I want you to see me. And I know I'm not looking at you, but I feel like I'm looking at you. If you notice in my videos, I do my best to look at the camera, so you feel like I'm looking at you when I'm talking. I kind of want to feel like you're clicking Doncho's videos and you're sitting there, you're just listening to Doncho talk. You're listening to Doncho explain things, and I have respect for you, so you can see me and I can see you. I also do broadcast journalism for school, so like my thing is to be on camera, and I love seeing myself. I mean, I'm kind of attracted. Nah, I'm really not. Phantom Series was one of the first things you branched out into in terms of non-JKL content. Any more you hope to expand into? Like I said, you know, earlier this video, eventually Hunter x Hunter, eventually Kingdom Hearts, the content, because I love that stuff. Gaming content, just doing more Doncho cosign stuff. You know, if you guys haven't seen the Doncho's cosign video where I talk about winter anime you should watch this season, you should check that out. But I want to do Doncho cosigns for manga I think you should read. And every season, I'm going to have the Doncho cosigns for the anime of that season I think you guys should watch. That type of stuff is what I really want to branch out to. And eventually, I want to talk about everything anime and manga. Right now, I'm building up the credibility using Jujutsu Kaisen because I think it's something that's phenomenal that everybody needs to talk about. And I want you guys to know I'm able to dissect and, you know, break things down that isn't just your regular average shonen things, because Jujutsu Kaisen isn't that. It takes a lot more than that. It takes a lot of actually getting the concepts, getting the themes, getting the power system, and I want to show you guys I'm capable of doing that, so that way you guys know, okay, I can trust this guy when he talks about this or when he talks about that. That's my goal. How do you think the rest of the main cast, Yuji and Nobara, would learn to handle domain? Do you think they'll adopt simple domain, or will they gain their own over time? If Yuki decides to take Yuji and Nobara after everything going on this arc and decides to teach them simple domain, I could see it. I think Yuji and Nobara won't get domain. Now, do I want Yuji and Nobara to have domains? Absolutely. Nobara, she gets a domain, that's a broken domain, because her ability is resonance, so I can only imagine what the hell her domain, which her domain is going to do to your ass. Like, whew, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think simple domain can be taught to them if Yuki decides to teach it. Falling Blossom, I don't know where they're going to get that from, but they may develop their own over time. I'm hoping Nobara is alive and okay, but I'm also hoping that if she's alive and okay, her being near death like Gojo was when he fought Toji, I'm hoping her coming back gave her some type of enlightenment and she will touch a domain. That is what I'm hoping. So what I will say is, I think Yuji and Nobara will get domains at some point, but for Yuji, I don't want it to be Malevolent Shrine. I want it to be something else entirely. And for Nobara, I'm ready to see what that craziness is going to be, but they may have to just get simple domains if they can't. Maybe they'll get simple domains first before they get into the actual their own domain level. We'll see. Good question. Do we have any hopes for Hikari in terms of technique or behavior that you want in a character, such as Kusakabe valuing his life and energy over everything and so on? I want Hikari to not give a fuck. And not like Toji not give a fuck, because Toji ain't been suspended, not that we know of. Hikari been suspended. So I need Hikari to be real like, hey, this Jujutsu world full of shit. Like, I want Hikari to have done something so bad to where it was supposed to be worse than a suspension, but then Gojo stepped in and was like, let's just suspend him. I want Hikari not to vibe with the elders at all. I want him to be really kind of like Toto. But oddly, part of me thinks he's going to be a real calm menace. I don't know why my brain thinks that, but part of me thinks he's not going to be loud and obnoxious and yelling. He's going to be calm and be really sensical, but he's going to be a menace. Like, his way of doing things is going to be toxic, which is how he got suspended. I kind of think that's where he's going. Technique wise, I think someone mentioned gravity. Hey, bro, I'm all for gravity, bro. Because his name has to do something with scales. So if it has to do with weight and gravity, oh, we could do that. We could do that all day. I'm Hikari and gravity, boom. So next question. I know your views on Yuta's true motives. Do you think we would ever get a King of Curses versus Queens of Curses? Furthermore, do you ever think that we would get a sort of Queen of Curses that is standalone and not attached to a character such as Yuta? Like a female curse with the status that Sukuna, assuming Yume isn't a curse or a woman. Yes, if Rika's actually back. If Rika's not actually back, and this is just some type of play with her name, and it's a different technique, then of course no. But if Rika's actually back, yes, I do think we might get like a little Sukuna versus Rika thing. But I think it'll be on some Yuta and Rika about to do a move, Yuji caught lacking, and Sukuna's like, okay, little kid, and chain for the 1 minute, give Yuta a quick wax, and just bounce really quickly to get Yuji up out of it. That's kind of how I feel. I don't think Rika and Yuta want that smoke. Powerful as they are, I don't think they want that smoke. Not at all. Furthermore, do I ever think we would get a regular Queen of Curses? It'd be a very interesting thing to happen. I'm not sure though. I feel like if that was to happen, it'd have to make a lot of sense lore-wise, and we'd have to figure out where this person has been, what have they been doing, why have they not been around, why we haven't heard of them, why nobody's talked about them, and why did they call Rika the Queen of Curses if there's an actual Queen of Curses, but then maybe they don't know about this Queen of Curses, right? I feel like anything is possible with Gege Akutami, literally. So we just have to wait and see. What type of things or people do you hope to emerge from Bring's curse activation besides Sumiki? I'm hoping that the girl that Yuji was classmates with, that she grew taller, looked different, even her hair's different. I hope she was one of the people that he turned into a sorcerer. I doubt it, based on last we seen her. But it'd be raw if she was one of the people. That'd be cold. That would be cold if he did. That'd be so raw if Akutami. That'd be so raw if Akutami did that. I was just thinking about that yesterday. That'd be so raw. I'm hoping we see some really cool techniques though. Like I'm hoping we see some really unique techniques, but we also get depth into those characters, awakening it, and they're all like, what the heck, is this what the real world is? And like them realizing stuff and wanting to go out and do certain things. And I hope we get a whole bunch of assholes, bro. I hope we get a whole bunch of evil ass curse users, bro. I want curse user versus Jujutsu sorcerer scraps, bro. I want more of that. I want these curse spirits to be ridiculous. I want all these bitches to have domains. Like I want everyone to have a domain, every single one to be special grade. Like I want everything to be super, super dangerous. And I'm hoping to see Yuji doing a lot of like rogue exercising. Also, why do you think Sukuna and Yuta can copy techniques? I don't think Sukuna can copy techniques, first and foremost. I think Sukuna is mimicking your curse energy to do something similar to your specialty, but he has to do it in his own way. He's not actually copying your technique. Different way how Yuta is actually copying the techniques. Okay, the only thing you could kind of say is different than when he did Inumaki's thing. He had a little speaker thing and did that, but of course he's not gonna grow the things on his face and do that. Of course, the little speaker thing is gonna be summoned and used like that. But I think Sukuna isn't actually copying your technique. He's taking that curse energy. He knows how to really mold it, mimic it, and do a different technique. As people always say, we have innate techniques, techniques you are born with. So is there a such thing as having a non-innate technique, a technique you aren't born with? If Yuji's body is going to be scarred by Sukuna's techniques to where he can use the technique, so does that mean that if you really tap into curse energy, you can start mimicking people's techniques? I think that's something that's possible because we could all just talk about positive energy and the potential of curse energy. I think that's possible. For Yuta, no idea. Well, I think we're going to get more exposition on that. I think the reason why we didn't get a lot of exposition on it in the prequel is because Akutami wasn't even sure if Jujutsu Kaisen was going to be a thing. But at some point, I think, yeah, if we're going to dive more into what exactly curse energy is in its essence, we're going to get more information on how exactly Yuta's copying curses and curse techniques. I think it's something that has to do with the core of curse energy and its true essence. What was your first anime and manga? Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon? Which one you want to go with? You know, like I don't know which one came first for me. Like I sat down and said, oh yeah, I'm one. You know, but I will say the first time I realized, and I said this in my original Q&A, the first time I realized I was reading manga was 4th grade, public library, reading Saint Seiya and Tagami Bachi Letter B. I was killing those volumes. And then I seen Naruto volumes and said, Naruto, like, that's what I watch on Cartoon Network, not even knowing like Naruto's anime. Visited my dad and he was a teacher. And I'm in the computer lab. Back then you got them old ass computers. And in front of me, I see this kid, you know, he older than me though, watching Naruto. I'm seeing shit I ain't never seen in my life. And it is Naruto versus Kimimaro. I said, what the hell is going on? I literally got up, walked to his row. I was like, what are you watching? And he was all like, I'm watching Naruto. You like Naruto? I'm like, yeah, but who's he fighting? What's going on? He was like, oh, this is him versus Kimimaro. It's the newest episode. Oh, you don't watch subtitles? I'm like, no. What is he's like, oh, well, he gave me a site. He told me, oh yeah, you watched it. You can watch it here. You know, this is really from Japan, and he basically put me hip. I don't even know this guy's name. But he's a black kid. He just put me hip. I said, what the? So I'm catching up to Naruto. This whole time I'm visiting my dad, I'm catching up to Naruto where the subtitles are. That's when it hit me. Like, okay. This is different. This is not from America. That's why you read it from left to right. This is different. You know, I mean right to left, sorry. This is different, you know? It felt like I was being thrown into an entirely different world. Like I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like we're behind. My first anime and manga, I'm just gonna list Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Digimon, Naruto, and the first manga I ever picked up though was Tagami Bachi Letter B and Saint Seiya. Then one of the first physical mangas I picked up and said, what's this? And was reading them. Saint Seiya and Tagami Bachi Letter B. Would never forget those series. Where would you like to see your YouTube account become or turn into? Kind of answered this question in the past few things, but I wanted to turn into an all-inclusive anime account. Doncho's Hideout, where you come to Doncho's Hideout and Doncho and even some friends maybe who might want to join the channel do things in a hideout. That's what I'm going for. I want you guys to come here for anything anime, manga, video game related, and you guys can enjoy yourself and have some fun and also get put hit some news here and there, you know what I'm saying, if you didn't know something, and get put hit to some theories and some discussions and some things you never thought about before. That's the goal. And what's a 10 out of 10 series for you and why? Hunter x Hunter. I could be here all day talking about why, but if we want to talk about the main reasons why, Gon and Killer's relationship, the nuance throughout the entire series, the consistent parallels done throughout every single character, Colo's little Silver and the Phantom Troop, everything about them is fantastic. Kurapika, everything about him is fantastic. Leorio being a character that is prominent but isn't always even around, but he still matters and is important and he's even loved by the fan base. 10 out of 10. Jing Freaks, one of the most intriguing, interesting characters I ever wrote. Even if people hate him, I love that man. The Chimera Ant arc, fantastic. The current Secession War arc, fantastic. The Election arc, fantastic. It's just everything about Hunter x Hunter just reminds me what it means to write a good story where everything is inclusive and everything makes sense. It's explained, it's broken down, it is nuanced. So if you don't like things that explain every little thing to you on the deeper level, it's nuanced to where you have to pick those things up. The coming of age story is just gripping, it's soul grabbing. It just reminds me of how you can deconstruct things that people have been doing the same over and over for years. Do you have any fave anime merch? My Yu Yu Hakusho hoodie, you guys will see me like wear that. That's probably one of my favorite like clothing merches. I love that. Like it's like one of my favorite things. And even this right here, it's an anime thing. You wouldn't understand. I love that. But my figurines, I love my Law figurine and I love my Ace figurine. Those are my two favorite One Piece characters of all time. I love them so much. I love my Rimuru Tempest figurine that my friend got for me. It's probably one of my favorite things. Actually, I'm gonna show it to you because I have it. Hold on. One of my closest friends in the entire world got me this Rimuru Tempest figurine recently, which is why it's here with me. And it's like, it makes me want to cry because I love Rimuru so much and my friend is so awesome that they got this for me. And yeah, I love them. Thanks, Chris. You're the best. Oh, and all my volumes. I love all my volumes, especially my Hunter x Hunter volume. But that's probably my favorite merch. I wish I could have showed it to you guys as I talked about it. And my Jujutsu Kaisen calendar. If you have not seen my video where I showed off my Jujutsu Kaisen calendar and my Jujutsu Kaisen anime start guide, I love those as well. I have a lot of awesome merch that's not with me that I would love to show you guys. How do you feel about fandoms being toxic? Do they affect how you feel towards an anime? Absolutely not. I would never let somebody else ruin my experience. I will never. Y'all like literally will call 10 million people toxic because you dealt with 10 toxic people. And that shit blows my mind. Like, you would get ratio for saying something stupid on Twitter and then be like, oh, My Hero Academia fans are toxic. Jujutsu Kaisen fans are toxic. Attack on Titan fans are toxic because they post manga spoilers. Oh, they're the worst. They're the worst in the world. Like, what are you talking about? Like, so the AOTD fans are toxic because they want to talk about their manga when it releases. Jujutsu Kaisen fans are toxic because they boost popular ongoing new anime and manga. Okay. My Hero Academia fans are toxic because there are a whole bunch of gay kids who like to make gay fan art and talk about how Bakugo and Deku are secretly in love. Okay. Like I don't know what you want me to. When y'all bring up the weirdos, that's this loud minority, I will never sit there and go, oh yeah, these tens of millions of people are now toxic because this very loud minority is just loud. How do you see JJK ending? I don't see it ending. Can it last forever? No, but on a serious note, I see Jujutsu Kaisen ending with Megumi dying because he's used by Sukuna to come back, and then there being a final showdown dealing with Sukuna, maybe Sukuna and Yuji, maybe Gojo comes out the box for a scrap to help out. But I definitely think Megumi's dying before the actual end of the series. And then some things are going to happen off of Megumi's death. That's going to be like the final conclusion to everything. Everyone who knows me and knows this channel, you know Megumi is my favorite Jujutsu Kaisen character, bar none. And I definitely think he will die before the end of the series. And then that will be a very, very dramatic moment that will escalate the series into its climatic, getting it to its finale. And then it will end off. Maybe with Yuji dying as well. Maybe with Yuji surviving and then just, you know, having to have that mental fortitude and mental strength to be alive even though his close friend is dead. Because maybe other people will survive, but Megumi will sacrifice himself so those other people can survive. And then Yuji will come and be like, you saved me and saved others and now has to come in. I really see Megumi as a martyr. Megumi's going to get really powerful, then end up dying like a martyr at the end of the series. That's how I see that happening, but I could be entirely wrong. Other than that, I have no idea how Jujutsu Kaisen is ending, and I love it that way. So, getting into the last few of our questions, what anime character that you'd say you're most like? I would say anime characters that I would say I'm most like would probably be like Dazai Somu, Megumi Fushiguro, Polo Lucifer. Lolo's upbringing, his thought of life, wanting to impact the world, wanting to take things so that he can have. I relate to that very powerfully. That's a very personal thing that I relate to on a very high level. Love Kolo Lucifer. Daza Somu with his just thoughts on suicide and fighting past the negativity and the darkness in your heart so that you could be the best you. Love that. And I love the actual Dazai Somu, so I get little hiccups even talking about subjects like this, but that type of stuff is what really, really clings to me. And those characters are definitely, I would say, I'm most like that I can think off the top of my head. What's up, Dan? What's one manga or anime that your opinion on has changed over time? Okay, like from the first time you watched it till now, for better or for worse. JoJo's. That's the one. Okay, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I could not stand JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Part 1 through 3, like, to this day, I hate those parts, and I just cannot get over. And it's funny because I don't think they're inherently bad JoJo parts. I just don't like them and how they unfold and just what they are. I just don't enjoy them for real, right? I'm not gonna call them objectively bad because I have an ability to read things and understand what's being done to get it. But subjectively, I'm like bored. I get bored of JoJo. I got bored of JoJo part 1 through 3. Part 4, trying to watch it, I was like, nah, just could not do it. And it took me years to get through part 1 through 3. It took me years. But then 4, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna read. I even went back and said maybe the anime didn't do justice for me for 1 through 3. Read 1, going all the way up. I was, like I said, was not vibing with 1 through 3. But reading 4 and on, fantastic. Love it. 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 Love JoJo's. Love JoJo's. I have issues with JoJo, and it's not one of my favorites. I guess I could probably say it's up there for like a favorites, maybe top 10, maybe. I'm not sure off the top of my head, probably not, but maybe it's like in that 11, 12 range. But I definitely went from like going, I do not understand why y'all love this series so much. Like I get why it could be popular, and I get that. But I was like, bro, I'm not understanding where the love comes from. But then getting through parts 4 and on, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to see why y'all love this. These stands after part 3 are interesting. They're crazy, plot holy and ass pulley for show, but it's fun. So let's take the fun. I'm all for fun. That's why I love isekai, stuff like that. I'm all for fun. So hey, it's fun. We gonna take it. Say less. It's fun, and it still has its compelling moments here and there. Take it. Love that. Part 7, everything makes sense. Compelling character. Man, love part 7. And part 8 is doing just as well. So definitely JoJo's. That's the one that's changed over time. What made you get into long-form writing about JKL and anime in general? I'm a writer. I was long-form writing about anime and manga privately and just rereading my own writing and just letting it sit there. Like I have a whole bunch of old written stuff in old Google Docs just written up. Like when I first watched Code Geass for the first time, I literally wrote a paper on Code Geass and as a mech, how it was different than what I expected from it. I don't have friends IRL to talk about anime with. That's just crazy. Like I guess you could say I do, people who I met on Twitter who I text, but they're not, that's not the same. And I mean IRL, I met you in real life, wrote with you or hang out with you. I don't have friends that I do that with. So like I used to just write. Like just write to myself basically, read it, be like, that don't make sense. Like I used to be able to really read my own work and critique it like I'm somebody entirely different and then be like, oh, okay, and just look at stuff differently off of just doing that. It's really interesting. What are your top 3 favorite JJK and Fandoms tier characters? I'm gonna start with Fandoms tier first because I don't have really favorite Fandoms tier characters. Riku's my favorite Fandoms tier character. If you watch my videos, you know I really don't enjoy Iori that much. He's okay. The Tengu dude's alright. So I'll go with those 3. I don't have favorites right now. Nobody's gripped me. Nobody's made me be like, oh yeah, I love you. And they don't have to right now, I feel like. That's okay. 22 chapters. That is okay. I like that type of build up. I'm willing to stay with things for the long run. I don't have 3 favorites for real for Fandoms here, but I love Riku to death. And for Jujutsu Kaisen, Megumi Fushiguro, I think Nobara is my second favorite character. So I think I'm going Megumi, Nobara, and my third will probably be Gojo. Gojo's my favorite, and I'm glad Gojo's in the box. But Gojo's for sure my favorite, my third favorite, because I just love a mentor like him. He will always stay up there in my top favorites, even as other characters become great and you know, come into the series and do more. He will always be in that top 3. Or maybe he'll have to fall in the top 5 depending on what happens, but I think he'll always be in that top 3. So Megumi, Nobara, Gojo, easy top 3. So yeah, that is all the questions you guys have sent me. I really appreciate everyone doing this Q&A, sending me stuff in for the 1-year anniversary of Doncho's Hideout, you guys. It's so awesome. I hope you guys stayed for the entirety of this video. You guys got your questions answered. You guys were interested in this and interested in me. And as I always say, thank you for coming back to the Hideout. If you want more content from me and more stuff like this, make sure you hit the like button want, you guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And like I said, if you want to support the channel, hit that Ko-fi and that Patreon link at the bottom and help us out. We really do appreciate all of that, you guys, so we can make the Hideout even better and better and better and better. So once again, it is me, Doncho. Peace.
Young Noise.